Good evening, everyone from India, and good morning to others from the West. We have with us Colonel Dr. Inderjeet Singh with us today to share his expert views on the business opportunities of Metaverse. Who is Dr. Inderjeet Singh? Uh, he is an alumni of IIT Kharagpur. He's got a doctorate in cybersecurity from Logos University. He has served the Indian Army for 24 years, and he was director of military intelligence MI13 in India, and he's got over 2 decades experience in cybersecurity, and he has founded a e-commerce company and is also its CIO. Presently, he is chief of cybersecurity of Vara technology. And of specific memberships, he is a member of ICS2, ICACA, PMI, and CCICI. The acronyms I do not know the expansion for. I think it's an expert knowledge group. That's all I can share. I do not know the institutions. And then he's also council member of CET and a fellow of IE and fellow also of IETE. And he is a co-founder of India Blockchain Forum, as also the Society for Data Science, S4DS. And he is a Director General of Cybersecurity Association of India. It has been very fortunate that he has accepted to address and share with us his knowledge and also his time, despite his very, very busy schedule, which I've been following up with him for his time, and he has consented very kindly. Over to you, Colonel Dr. Inderjeet Singh. Thank you.
Thank you, CA Arun Kumarji, and good morning, good evening to everyone, whichever zone you are. And thanks for inviting me for a talk on such a wonderful platform today and discuss on a very pertinent topic, very futuristic topic of Metaverse. And while we are already in the era where it's a transitioning phase, I will say, we are seeing so much happening in the world of internet, and we are at the right time looking at blockchain, Web3. We are trying to get into Metaverse. We are already seeing Chat GPT coming in, artificial intelligence already, gracing our daily life, something which is very important. And while we are talking about all these technologies, the future is an amalgamation of all these technologies, and there's going to be a foundational change if I look at it. This is not a transactional change, it's a foundational change. And when I say the foundational change, it means that the way we work is going to change, right? So that is where we're going to be talking of the business opportunity in Metaverse, what it could be for everyone, how the new world order is going to be. So all those things we'll talk of. And going forward, we already seen the internet, which is the Web 2, which is already there. And we saw the Facebook, which came almost 18 years ago. And most of the websites were where we only type text was there. And then we got the phones with camera. We were pretty happy about it. Then internet became more visual and mobile. And as the connections are really growing up, videos have become a richer way to share things. This is the present status. And we have gone from the desktop era to web to mobile, and from text to photos to videos. So this is a transition what we have seen. But in this progression, Metaverse is a logical evolution which we are seeing, and that's what I told you, it's a foundational change we do it. The way we work is going to change because of all these technologies, whether it's a blockchain, whether it's Web3, whether it's artificial intelligence. So the next generation of internet is going to be more immersive. It's going to be having a 3D experience, right? And Metaverse is already here. We're already seeing so much of noise which is happening about the Metaverse. And the future iteration of internet have made up of persistent 3D virtual spaces which are linked up into a virtual universe. So a metaverse is a definition when we talk of it. It is the virtual world, the physical world and the virtual world. Meta means the virtual, verse means the word. And the metaverse, in a broader sense, may not only refer to a virtual world, but also the internet as a whole, including the entire spectrum of augmented reality. That is how the metaverse is going to be in due course of time. And when did it come? That's the most important question. Yeah, whether it's just happened 1 year, 2 year, or when the Facebook just changed the name from Facebook to Meta. If you go back to history, so 1992, there was a person called Neil Stephenson. He wrote a novel called Snow Crash, and that was the start of the metaverse, right? And and he really defined the meta as the beyond and the verse is the universe. It's a beyond universe where you're going to be there. So we already know that the metaverse is already here, but it's in the infancy and it's in the starting baby steps which it's taking up. So as any technology which comes up, we seeing the industrial uh, 1.0, 2.0, 3.0, 4.0, 5.0, what we are talking of. None of the technology is overnight. It takes a lot of time, and here also it's going to take almost 10 to 15 years for the metaverse products to be fully realized. And when I say 10 to 15 years, but the way the technology is really happening, uh, everybody's anticipating 2027 to 2030 is really going to be a game changer when we see the full blown uh, way the metaverse really works, right? So there are different companies. They're already investing very heavy into metaverse. They are bringing up lots of projects into metaverse, and it's the base is one of the blockchains which are there. So they leverage those technologies for a kind of authentication and the cryptographic capabilities of that. So Meta, we already seen it. Microsoft is already pumping lots of money. Roblox, that's one of the gaming application, which is a bigger kind of game changer for metaverse. Sandbox is another one. Decentraland and Boeing. And just to give you a view of it, people have started buying land in metaverse, a virtual land. And how they're buying that? They're buying it using a currency. I'll not say the cryptocurrency, it's an NFT, that's a non-fungible token, right? And people have been buying the lands. People are, building up those areas in metaverse, right? So all those things are already happening now. Banks have started opening some of the branches in the metaverse, right? So that's a very interesting phase which we are seeing. And what does this metaverse looks like? This only a 2D view right now, which I'm showing it to you. But uh, this is how the way we are doing a meeting right now on a Zoom. Just imagine all of you are sitting there and you seeing the slides, right? And all the people are on their different places with their names, and it's really a kind of a alternative and a viable solution to the existing meeting formats, what can happen. And it's a kind of a very immersive experience. And if this happens, the kind of learning, the kind of immersive experience which you have is really very phenomenal. Last year, in fact, I was part of one of the international virtual reality film festival that happened for the first time across the world, and we did all the film festival in metaverse. So that was a real big experience when it came to doing that kind of event. So this is how a metaverse people would move like, and it's a like I told you, it's a next gen internet, and you can have an immersive experience based on whatever activities you have. You can have a embedded links which are there. You have different venues which you can create. You can collaborate. You can learn. You can train. You can work as a team, and that is how the whole metaverse is going to be, right? So and how do you get in? I'll cover that. So we have the virtual reality, we have the augmented reality. So those things I'll cover up as we go along, right? So, and while we saw the COVID happening, if we had the metaverse, then we could have had a different kind of experience when it comes to the metaverse and working using the metaverse. So with the metaverse, wherever you are, it really doesn't make a concern. You can collaborate with different teams all across the world and work with them in a manner like you're working from your own office. So this is how I'm just play a
Over the last year and a half, a lot of us who work in offices have gone remote. And while I miss seeing the people I work with, I think remote work is here to stay for a lot of people. So we're going to need better tools to work together. Let's take a look at what working in the metaverse will be like. Imagine if you could be at the office without the commute. You would still have that sense of presence, shared physical space, those chance interactions that make your day all accessible from anywhere. Now imagine that you have your perfect work setup and you can actually do more than you could in your regular work setup. And on top of all that, you can keep wearing your favorite sweatpants.
Looking good. Let's get together real quick for a debrief.
I'm free now. Let's jump in. Hi.
Hey.
So what do we think?
I think it's ready.
Great.
I'll prep it for the presentation.
All right. Good luck.
Imagine a space where you can tune out distractions and focus on the task at hand. And when you're ready to share what you've been working on, you can present it as if you're right there with the team.
Wait, where's Mark?
I think he's in the middle of something.
So this is how you'll have a totally different experience. And here I just want to tell you, this is Mark, and the kind of, this is a avatar when you wear and you are there in the metaverse, and you actually are present in your kind of while you're in the physical format, you are available, or you are there as an avatar and working in a similar fashion. So this is the power of the metaverse, what's going to be. Now, how the metaverse is going to change everything. I like I told you about the office. Like now you do the shopping, right? And you do a 2D shopping. You browse through the websites, you see the product, and thereafter you select a product. Whereas with the metaverse, you're going to be wearing a kind of goggle called the virtual reality goggle or the augmented reality goggle on the headset. And when you do the shopping, it's going to give you an immersive experience of the shopping. And today, when you have a mobile phone, you flip through the mobile phone and do the shopping, it's going to become a device for your augmented reality. When I tell this word as augmented reality, how it's going to work is this. And if you want to buy a shoe next time, and this is the mobile phone, you can see your actually the shoe coming out, and you can flip to the shoe and see as to how the shoe looks like. I'll show you that. Just one sec. Yes, sir. So this is the power of the next gen technologies, and especially the metaverse, and your phones are going to become a device for the augmented reality. So what do I say a metaverse is? So it's a fusion of physical, augmented, and virtual reality. I'll explain those words a bit. So when I say the virtual reality, it's a recreation of the things in the virtual world. You can have virtual projects, you can have virtual currencies, you can have virtual characters, right? And the way you can actually move in the metaverse, you require a digital avatar, which is a kind of a identical to your identity in the real world, but built on imagination. You can change the way you want to look like, or it's a combination, the original format or whatever you want to think of it, you can always do that. And I told you about the headset. So it's a combination of virtual reality, right? And you can wear that, create a digital avatar, and you can get into the metaverse, and you can actually get closer insight into the daily lives than any social media post can, right? So but it's the way you're going to interact. And how do you really transact in the metaverse? So that's another thing, because some transaction value you need to have the dollars. What do you do that? So there are currencies like NFT, the non-fungible token, which can be used to buy and sell things, artifacts, your land, your buildings, your avatar, even your identities. So everything using the NFTs. And what you do, you can walk around with your friends, you can visit places, you can buy things, you can attend events, right? So all you can do it in the metaverse. And for example, musicians who can actually perform virtual gigs, uh, fashion companies, they are already creating virtual apparels for people's avatar to wear in the metaverse surrounding. So if you want to go for a party, you can buy a dress in metaverse which suits you, and pay it through NFTs. And then is you have a simulated cafes, you have e-meet with your friends there, and you can travel to a virtual art gallery to see the digital art displays out there. So that is the power. That's the real thing which is happening right now. And like I told you, in metaverse you can collaborate, you can shop for goods and services, participate in activities. So everything possible which is there, and lots of companies are really investing, and NFT are commonly being used in the metaverse. So like the NFT, just a word about it, it's a non-fungible token. It's a kind of a blockchain project where you're giving those tokens for purchasing things, right? And you can have a kind of marketing activities done in the blockchain. So there are lots of companies, like there are many designer and high profile companies like Gucci, Louis Vuitton, Coca-Cola, and sports memorabilia are getting into the metaverse. They're already there, and most of the time whenever they put anything in the metaverse, it's being sold like a hotcake, right? And there are already people have been buying lands in the decent land, and it's already kind of selling like a hotcake. People bought it. Quite a number of people have been buying lands out there, right? So what would be the key elements of being in a metaverse? So one, of course, is the working at the office, which I told you. Second is the social syncing with the people, social interaction. Your gaming is important. And like people used to play games, and every time they were playing games, and whenever they exit out of it, they lost all the points. Here, that remains, and they can buy the identities. They can use the points which they earned as NFTs, and then they can reuse it. So that's how they really work. Then is the e-commerce is another area which is a key element, that NFT and digital assets, which form part of the metaverse, right? So one of the studies by the city, they have told that it's already going to be a very big proposition when it comes to uh, 2030, and there'll be a huge number of people who are going to be in metaverse in some way or the another, right? And one of the studies again, they valued a metaverse at 47 billion, and it's projected that it will go to 800 billion by 2024, and it's going to really grow very big, and predicted that more than 60% of all business transactions will occur online, with the majority of those occurring in the metaverse. And I would like to highlight one of the key technologies which are happening. We are all talking about the metaverse right now. We're all also talking of blockchain. There's a technology on the blockchain itself where it's called tokenization, and that is really going to grow big. And one study which really came up very recently by Citi, they've told it's going to disrupt the complete economy by $20 trillion, right? So tokenization is a future. So all the technologies are moving forwards towards that. And lots of benefits of metaverse, where you have assistance in remote working. You have better virtual spaces in the online games, and they're improving every day. Monetization, the NFT part, which I told you, the gaming part, which is there. So that's again a big way benefit, and providing the virtual tour experience. You want to travel to any country, you can get into the metaverse and experience those places, and easy access to the healthcare. So, and I've just put one experience here, but there are any sector, whether it's a healthcare, your aviation, your banking, all the sectors are really getting into the metaverse. And some of the crypto, I'll not touch upon into the details of the metaverse cryptos or the NFTs, but just to tell you a very brief about it. One is a decent land, is basically the medium of exchange on the platform marketplace. That's called Mana. Second one is the Access, is a governance token, right? And third one is a SAND. It's a utility governance and a staking token that's being quite popularly used. And fourth one is Engine Coin, and it's a blockchain gaming company, and it offers its user a host of interconnected, play to earn gaming experience. So the n number of these kind of coins do come up, but then cryptocurrencies do come up, but these are the ones which are quite prominent. And I told you about the tokenization that's going to disrupt $10 trillion. Again, last year, Citibank came up with a report, and they have come up that metaverse economy could be between 8 trillion to 13 trillion by 2030, with up to 5 billion users, and virtually the virtual world could be the next gen internet. And very interesting study. And this is the way forward, what we're looking at. So some of the building blocks of the metaverse, which are very important. So when you look at the metaverse ecosystem, so earlier we used to be talking of direct to consumer. We were trying to talk of transactional storytelling, your physical experiences. Whereas, in metaverse, we are direct to avatar. So when we interact, we are interacting, our avatar is interacting, right? We have a digital ownership. And story making is your virtual programming, what you do there. You have extended reality, which hooks up. And there are lots of massive interactive live events which you can get into the metaverse ecosystem. This is how practically, when you enter the metaverse, this is how you would enter. There's a kind of headset, which I was talking about, the virtual reality headset, which you put it. And if you look at there's a haptic sensor, which primarily when you move, your hands also will move in the metaverse, right? So on the legs also you can wear it, and that's all. And you're connected to the internet, right? And you are there in the metaverse. It's going to give you augmented reality of different scenarios which are there, right? So what is avatar? Just to put everybody on the same discussion point. So primarily avatars are based on your online identities and spending habits and brand preferences. So that's what you do that. And avatar will have be our own user ID. It's our representation when it comes to the metaverse, right? And second is your digital ownership. And digital ownership is about the non-fungible tokens. These are the blockchain-based certificate of ownership. Like if you're buying a painting, right, and somebody gives you a painting in the metaverse, how do you know that it's being owned by you? So you have the certificate of ownership, which is on you now, and then that NFT belongs to you. And these are more than the collectibles and their blockchain-enabled benefits which are attached to it. And these are primarily a bridge between the virtual and the physical world. So when you look at Meta, it's being fueled by technologies. And like I was discussing earlier also. So one is the consumerization of the augmented reality, the virtual reality headsets we are looking at. Second is the pandemic and the shift to the hybrid work arrangements. We are seeing that. We are talking of 5G. We started talking of 6G now, right? Where the speeds are going to be phenomenally very high. And that is really going to speed up the adoption of metaverse. People are talking of, your holographic transfer of your hologram from one place to another. So that's really something which is going to change with 6G coming in. And then is your AI is maturing. It's lots of technology shift we are seeing. We are seeing the IoT, the sensors which are there. Cloud infrastructure is matured quite a bit now, right? And we are moving from the consumer, which are having a preference towards the digital asset investments and the virtual experience. So they're looking in for that. And then is your evolution of the Web3. The Web3 is primarily the distributed web. The earlier time web was the semantic web, which is the old web, what we talk of, right? Is a centralized web, which is there. The next gen web is going to be a blockchain-based web, distributed web, where you'll be owner of your own, content, which is you're generating. And the technology drivers, other than the AR, VR, is a 3D modeling, which is there. Uh, Edge computing is quite growing up. People are talking of cognitive intelligence because of the edge computing. And people are now looking in for decentralized infrastructure. They're trying to look in for the NFTs, which I'll say. And these are the drivers which are kind of very important for moving the technology to the next level. This is a technology stack. I will not dwell upon this, but just to give you a feel that what we are talking of metaverse, it's got layers of technology behind it. It's not just one technology which is driving metaverse. So starting from the base is your 5G, your 6G, your mobiles, you're getting onto the edge computing, you're getting onto the AR, the augmented reality, you're talking about the virtual reality, now you're talking about the extended reality, right? And then you have asset markets, which I spoke of. You have the ad networks, which are coming up, your social curation, then there's your stores, your agents, those are there. And of course, the gaming experience, the social experience, esports, theaters, your shopping. So this is the kind of stack which is behind the metaverse. And like I brought it out, not single technology again. These are kind of technologies which are being used. Everybody, people from different facets of life, they are developing all the technology, whether it's AI, whether it's a blockchain, somebody been talking of computer vision, 5G, 6G networks, which are there, edge computing is there, IoT, robotics. If you look at it, all these technologies are behind the metaverse, right? And what it gives you the avatars which are there, content creation, you can do the virtual economy, social acceptability, your security and privacy. So everything put together. So what all technology we've been talking today is converging towards the building of metaverse. That's a real, very interesting part of it. So no single technology we can say is the one driving factor for metaverse, right? Okay. But one thing which we have to be very clear, are the consumers ready for the metaverse yet? The answer is it's really taking time, because I told you it's a foundational technology. It will, the maturing of the technology, the security, the privacy, the adaptation of the technology, and the startups ecosystem which has been created. Uh, and so they need to really work in a very cohesive manner, right? So whether it's a business, whether it's an individual, so they are getting into metaverse. And if you look at from a business opportunity in metaverse, so user engagement is one area, and opportunities for the virtual events are the second area. People are working on lots of projects on the metaverse, and then is showcasing and selling products. So all companies, like I told you, the Louis Vuittons and Gucci's, they're trying to sell the products here. Some of the companies are really successful when they are putting in the products in the metaverse, and they sell like a hotcake. It really gives you an innovative advertising campaign which you can do. Like we were talking of the real estate, which is coming up, building up the real estate, the buildings in the metaverse is another area. The architecture in metaverse is another area which people are talking of, and transacting with these like with the NFT. So that's area we talk of it, right? So when you look in from a business perspective, what are the opportunities for us today? Uh, Different segments, I've tried to figure it out. There are a whole lot of areas which you can do a metaverse, but I have figured out which are important. And if you look in from your industrial or manufacturing, you can create a meta factory, and you can have a simulation of factory with digital twins. Digital twins is basically the replica of the item which is there, or a product which is there in the real world. So you can create a digital twin and then work on it, and whatever are the changes which you want to do, you can really simulate it, check it up before you want to do it in a virtual environment. Then product design and your virtual showrooms are another area which you can work it up. Collaborative remote assistance is another area, and entertainment and gaming is area which is quite from the beginning. People have been at it, and games and NFTs, like I was telling you, is a pretty important area where lots of development happen in the initial phase of metaverse itself. Your brand positioning, your collaborative marketing, and brand presence in the virtual world is interesting. Your virtual live events like your exports and esports, which are there, and virtual malls, your theater advertising, that real is a huge business perspective. And then is a healthcare where you can do the medical training and surgical simulations. You can have your virtual clinics, right? And also you can create your remote assistance for critical patients. So the healthcare again is a very interesting area to work on. And then is a high-tech areas where you can have the virtual conferences with real-time presence, your immersive onboarding of new employees, and your virtual office spaces. So you all can create those things in the metaverse. And then is your education. So there are now universities who are trying to have virtual metaverse-based classes where you can have a virtual campus, you can have the interactive classrooms, you can have workforce training, and you also can have the virtual field trips for them, and of course the science lab simulation using digital twins you can have in the metaverse. Uh, Real estate and e-commerce is another good area where people are investing. You can buy and sell virtual plots, digital ownership with NFT shared ownership, and you can also have lots of monetization when it comes to the kind of metaverse. So these are the some of the examples, the real life examples, which I wanted to show you, and different sectors which are actually the early adopters of the metaverse. So in the physical industry, you have a like engine, you can create a digital twin of the metaverse in the metaverse, and this is how you can check the engine the way it really works, and this is how you have the physical world gaming and the gaming in the metaverse using Roblox and Epic Games. And then you have the social and advertising. You can, the Nike showroom shoe which is being sold, and you also have a Nike like I showed it to you using the augmented reality in metaverse, and you can also do the socializing in metaverse. You can buy and sell land in metaverse. Then is the financial industry, okay, where you have the NFTs, cryptocurrencies, you have the digital wallets which are there. Art industry is another area uh, which has been a early adopter, but lots of challenges in it. So this is where you have the NFT base, and people have been selling the NFTs or this artwork using the NFT, right? So it's in fact the metaverse is one area where we're going to see lots of uh, kind of things which are going to happen in the economy, and it's going to change the way people are going to transact, they're going to work, and the whole lot of processes are going to change in due course of time. And uh, the companies which are actually working on in different areas, just wanted to show you that already in the manufacturing, there is NVIDIA, Omniverse, there's Unity, Adobe Desk, they're already putting up lots of things. And in the gaming is Roblox and Unity, Epic, Minecraft, and those are the gaming and entertainment sector which are there. And then is the social and advertisement Meta we already speaking of, Sandbox, your decent land, financial industry more on the blockchain based. We have the digital wallets, we have a blockchain, Ethereum, your Solana, your other platforms which are there. And then is the artwork. This is the OpenSea, this is a platform. And people are really investing in the metaverse as a technology, and it's really growing quite large, right? So some of the implications of metaverse for the businesses, we need to really take it on. One, with the 3D technology, it's going to bring up a complete storytelling experience to the advertising. You really need to work up as to how the digital events can be conducted in a metaverse. And the other thing is the interoperability concept of the metaverse, like one digital event which you're doing in one metaverse, if you need to do it in other metaverse, how it's really going to work. So interoperability, I'm not touching upon it at right now, but then that's another area of discussion, because there'll be not just one metaverse, there are going to be multiple metaverses. So how do you really, move your identity, how you move your avatar, reuse your avatar, so all those things kind of things which are going to happen. So metaverse is primarily, going to allow brands to interact with global audience in the e-commerce framework despite geographical barriers. So it's a whole lot of new areas to work. So without any boundaries, and uh, as the metaverse grows, we are going to be using lots of digital wallets, right? And the the transactions will be seamless cross-border transactions like we're already having it. So how do we really handle those transactions in a transactional cross-country transactions like what we do it today also in a Bitcoin? So that or the cryptocurrency. So those kind of things have to be seen as to how it really grows. So some of the use cases which I brought it up and just want to reiterate them. Some I added additionally. So in the e-commerce, e-learning, of course, you're primarily encouraging the immersive training. You're improving the gamification using the e-learning part of it. Uh, you have a enhanced illustration by the instructors in the metaverse, and you can, of course, have a 3D visualization, right? And in the real estate, how do I use it? There's a real accurate virtual modeling of the land, right? You have more property showcases come up. There physical construction. like I told you, the architecture in metaverse is a new area which people are exploring. When it comes to the banking and the finance, so you can have a branch which is there in the metaverse altogether, and you can have a virtual reality. The customer can view the account using the virtual reality. The customer can do that. They can see their balances. They can check the transactions if they want to do that, and also it will enhance the customer experience. So, but these are with challenges. All of them. It's not that very straightforward. You do it because it's got the privacy, the secrecy, and the data, which is most important in this case, right? As regards when it comes to the travel and tourism, you can uh, have a very inspired tourism purchases. You can do it of any place. You can give a very enhanced booking experience and have lots of virtual themes which you can create and give a very immersive experience to people. And uh, it's going to really change the way people are going to be moving around in those areas. And then is the gaming where your experience in enhanced reality, it will experience the enhanced reality and show different kind of scenarios and challenges which are there. So and people can earn at the same time. Like I told you, NFTs you can earn from the point, and game assets can be transferred. So it's not like that anytime whenever you're playing a game, it's going to be over there. So that's how it really works, right? And how do you really move to your business to the metaverse? So you really need to uh, get an online presence with current platforms which are there of the metaverse, which are happening. Or if you try to build up your own metaverse, that's also very feasible. Lots of startups are really working on those areas, and you can master modeling, do a master modeling of your products. First, you do it in 2D, then in 3D, and then you can be there in the metaverse. And if you aren't already you're not there, then you really need to be getting it and start working on it. And you what you need to do is you need to target your audience, and then you have the online involvement of your audience, to give them a feel of it, make them comfortable with the crypto assets, NFTs which are there, and focus on how to make your company an experience. So that's how you can slowly and steadily uh, uh, get into metaverse, adopt, let the people adopt it, adapt to this kind of technology, how the immersive experience is, how they are transacting using the digital wallets. So those kind of things, and using their avatars, their digital identities, and you in the back end are parallelly working on the advertisement or ads which you want to put it, your product you want to put it in the metaverse. So some of the challenges which are likely to arise, and uh, primarily there are a number of challenges. Like I told you, the privacy is one challenge, security is another challenge, and it's really difficult to identify people in the metaverse, like, right? Because anybody can fake any identity and be there, unlike your real world. So when the moment you put the headset, the company which is providing you with the headset, the virtual reality and augmented reality, they can steal the data. They can monetize the data. They can manipulate the data. So your voice, your facial expressions, your dilation of your eye, your skin texture, everything can be copied. Even your stolen, not copied, it's stolen, and it can be sold. Even your heartbeats which are there, because when you're putting up a virtual reality headset, so lots of information is being collected. So it must be verified. uh, One need to really verify why they require it and who's the owner of it, where is the data which is getting stored. And scammers and or the bots can use avatars to damage the reputation of someone, because if your avatar, your virtual you know identity is being stolen, somebody can do a major damage to you. And privacy, of course, the data is most important part of it, because all the virtual reality, augmented reality, when they're equipped with cameras and they have a unique identifiers, they can leak the personal data from the metaverse. So that is a major challenge. We look at it when it comes to metaverse. So it's got its own pluses and minuses when it comes to metaverse, like any technology. But the benefits are that you will have the ability to connect the world and negate the physical distances in the virtual environment. And it's a pretty immersive experience when you get into it. It's a total different experience which you see, and a lot of social interaction online, social media upgrades, which you can do it. And you have lots of opportunities for the new business, which we spoke of, getting into it, and educational and learning improvement in the virtual world is phenomenal. So this is my last slide. So Metaverse is already going to be there, and it's going to transform our society over the next 10 years, right? So there's no looking back on that. But at the same time, like I highlighted, the data security is going to be a problem, right? And it's going to be much more complex than what we are seeing today. And if we really have to be in metaverse, we have to have something called metaverse laws. Interpol already had, something that they started doing meta cops who will be monitoring the metaverse. And in times to come, we'll also have the regulations along the metaverse. So lots of things on the anvil as we move forward to the metaverse, adaptation in the real sense, right? So I'll pause here. I'll love to take on the questions which you have. If you can unmute yourself, I think that would be great, and I'll love to answer those questions. Yeah.
Colonel Singh, they requested we put questions in the chat. Can we do this verbally?
Yeah,
Okay,
sure
good.
enough. I'll
All
just read through it. Somebody's put it, not yet, I think.
Anyway, so I want to reiterate what other people said. Thank you for a very informative presentation. The question I have has to do with the real estate portion. Like, if you go to a real estate website and they show you photographs of all the rooms in the house and the area the house is in, that you know that they are always giving you their best look. And if there's anything that seems to me that you really need to go see the real estate, it's in person, it's real estate in terms of the area it's in, all the things they're not showing you. I don't understand how you get around that need before you close on a real estate transaction to actually go and see the property.
Okay. It's going to be like this. In Metaverse, primarily what they've done is they created a project called Decent Land. That's what I was trying to tell you. And people, out of exuberance, a lot of people, they have bought land in the Decent Land itself, right? Where using the virtual reality, you can see the land, you can see the 3D view of it, and a whole lot of area which is around before you seal the deal. Other way around of what you're saying, people moving the physical land to the virtual environment and the land which is there, it's because of the augmented reality, which is the part of it. And they create the augmented reality, which is more akin to your physical world, right? And when you see that area, it looks very similar to your augmented area of your physical world. So that is how you have a look and feel, which is more realistic when you're there in the metaverse.
Okay, thank you very much.
But it's in 3D. Yeah. One question from Uma, it's quite expensive for individuals to purchase and ready by 2027. Yes, the answer is I am in sync with you. But this is, like I told you, this is the technology, the adoption and adaptation is going to take time. And people who are going to adopt it, they started doing it. And again, that Decent Land example, which I told you, people bought land, then they were like NFTs, people wanted to use it. people getting in for advertising like Louis Vuitton and all, and Nike. They sold a lot of stuff, their products in metaverse, and it was being sold like hotcake just in few hours, right? So it's happening. It's happening at a slow pace, but definitely it's moving forward.
Colonel, I have a question. You had indicated that the business opportunity size is in trillions of dollars. Does it mean destruction of existing businesses rather than riding on top of the current infrastructure? Does it mean that the 20th century industries market capitalization and their relevance becomes reduced compared to the implementation of this technology?
Okay, it's a very interesting question. And these, when we talk of $10 trillion, $13 trillion, these are the enablers for increasing the economy, or enablers for adaptation of this particular technology. Say, for example, when I said tokenization is going to change by $10 trillion, that means the way the people adopt to technology or they adopt to those tokens, it's going to enhance the usage of it, and then the economy increases. Same way when we talk of the metaverse, when the people adopt it, lots of companies, when they put in money, right, and the businesses increase, and the business when they transact, it changes, the value changes, and that's a big enabler for reaching those figures, right?
So it's essentially an augmentation, partly, and partly probably a destruction of some kinds of existing businesses, right? So that would add to the global GDP overall, I suppose.
It is going to add to the overall GDP. And one thing which I would like to tell you here, with the AI coming in, metaverse coming in, like you brought it out, that it's at the cost of the present existing business. Now is the time, like we've been talking, it's a foundational technology. Things are going to change the way we look at it with the AI coming in. It's only that the things will be enabled for only those people who adapt to this technology, and they grow with the technology and learn the technology better, rather than being a staggler. So even like lots of questions to come up with the AI, will we be losing jobs? The answer is no. It's only that you need to learn to live in that technology, right? You have to adapt, or you upskill to those technologies, then only you'll be part of those technologies. Yes, yeah. Upskilling. So even when we talk of the metaverse, we talk of tokenization, we talk of, so we cannot be in the erstwhile era of what we were doing earlier, right? We need to upskill ourselves to these kind of things to be part of the technology transition which is happening right now.
And you had the potential impact is going to be global, and it is going to be across all geographies. How do you think the governments of the world are prepared for this, or is there any move, like you have for rules and regulations for imports, exports all across? You have a WTO. Do you have anything similar, any framework wherein all the governments are trying to collaborate and make this happen?
So yes, so there are not the governments have come together. There's only a non-profit organization which has come up for Web3, framework. People are trying to talk about the metaverse framework, which is not very robust right now. So lots of development happening. So regulations right now is not there. Only thing, like I told you, Interpol, they came up with, because there were lots of cases of different issues which are coming in the metaverse. So they started talking of meta cops. Like I brought it out, in times to come, like we have the IT laws and all across the world, every country will need to have meta laws to see into the cases of frauds and other kind of crimes which are going to happen in metaverse, and the regulations which at the national level at the international level and of course at the UN level, which comes up, though it's going to be very difficult, I'm very sure, because very difficult to handle a scenario like this. But definitely some kind of regulations to regulate the metaverse in the country. Yes, of course, that will be on the anvil. People are not right now talking of those regulations, but I'm very sure that shortly we have to take a step onto that.
Cynthia has a question. I'll just read it out for. What are the major regulations that metaverse businesses are currently encountering as roadblocks? That's a question.
So, well, I would say not the regulations, but there are other roadblocks which are there. In metaverse, every time, since it is more driven by people, there's a people who are cheats, right? So NFT, which was a very good as a technology, people started cheating, others for the metaverse. Before metaverse has come in, there are already crimes of cyberbullying. There's already a rape which happened in metaverse. So everything is coming back or taking a step back on these kind of technologies. So while we are trying to move ahead, these kind of challenges really put everybody on the back foot, right? Because if you look at the blocks, the technology block for metaverse, Web3 is very important block. NFT, because transactions are very important. Tokenization becomes very important. AI becomes very important, right? And blockchain, of course, is the most important to find it up. So these are all the technology stacks, and binding them together, still that regulations are not there. The final framework, because anyone who's developing the metaverse today, it develops on his own whims and fancy, and lots of companies, they say that, hey, we have built up a metaverse. It's just a visualization of a game, right? So like the example which I showed you, the second slide, I showed you this looks like a metaverse, but it's a 2D image. So what is the exact metaverse? How the VRs will happen? How augmented reality will take place? Because regulations around your privacy is the most important factor, right? Who owns your data? Who is going to save the data? What encryptions are going to be there? Your virtual reality, because people are going to monetize the data. The moment you have a virtual reality headset, they can monetize it. They can manipulate it using deepfakes, do a crime, and you're being put on the anvil. So lots of things on those side which are going to be a area of concern.
That's a lot we need to look out for, and
Yes.
And the investment is going to be expensive. Do you see any kind of budget allocation that an enterprise has to plan to factor for the metaverse as part of their business? What kind of?
Yes, just to tell you, one of the airlines started a metaverse experience. Definitely, companies are putting in a budget to test and try the water. A bank, they came up with a metaverse to give an experience of how a metaverse would look like to the customers. So, another company in a real estate, they want to give a feel of the real estate, how it looks like. So people are they're not allocating any perfect budgets. So most of the developments which are happening today are the startups, right? They are the ones who are driving more on the projects to build up the metaverse. And the other, like the banks or the university, which came up with their whole not the campus, the classroom first, to see how the thing will look like in the metaverse. And then the airlines, they started up a customer care center to how the metaverse will look like. So they are starting to work on the metaverse. We are in the initial phase of doing it. People are trying to allocate some budget. I'll not say X budget which is there, but definitely people are looking in for that.
Any other questions, friends?
Yes, also, you don't have to have a real person behind as an avatar. You can have a what do you call, a simulated being. So that is another area that I'm trying to get my head around.
Yes, that is the right thing what you're told, because if I have a avatar, right, and there's a bot, so and that bot is not a human being, then what do you do, right? So that's the way it is going to be. So those are the bigger challenges, very, very big challenge.
Okay.
Also, how did these companies manage to, like, for people buying the branded things and all those normal transactions happen when the web is not yet on Web 6 yet? Can it still do it at the
Web 3? It's a Web 3.
not so, Web 3, sorry, 6. What do you call the bandwidth?
So it's like this.
Yeah.
So it is like this. They are using the normal internet with a high-speed internet bandwidth. Okay, that's the kind of high bandwidth when you use it. The 5G and the 6G are being to be used when they're on a kind of a connected from Wi-Fi phones or some telecom network. So that's how it's going to be. And that's why the photograph which I showed it to you, there was a cable which was attached. So that is how they're connected to the internet. And then they're doing it. So with the 5G coming in, people are talking of 6G. This will drive or fuel the usage of Metaverse in due course of time.
So the difference between 5G and 6G will be phenomenal in terms of the connectivity.
Yes. So bandwidth. What is going to happen? Yeah, what is going to happen? The bandwidth is going to be 100x time.
Oh,
okay. And the latency, like in the earlier time, you had a latency delays which were there. With the 5G coming in, this now we are talking about the 6G. The latency is going to be reduced by 1/10. So just imagine. That's why I told you people are talking of holograms, and you can create a hologram of yours, and you can transport the hologram of yours to next or any meeting, and you are present. Your hologram is present in that meeting and conducting the meeting. That will be on 6G. And for that, you require the 6G to really work.
That sounds.
It's really going to be changing the whole way we are going to be, working.
Right. That sounds fantastic. Thank you, Colonel Dr. Inderjeet Singh, for your time and sharing your perspectives and your expertise. I believe that we have gained some insights as to kind of peeking into the future of Metaverse. It's fantastic. Thank you again for your time. I look forward to have more interactions with you, with our members in the near future also as a follow-up. I believe there's this is our first step, and it is quite, I would say, mind-boggling in terms of the changes that are going to happen. So I think I look forward to have you with us again.
Sure.
Thank you for your.
So it's a real pleasure to be with all of you and sharing the thoughts, because this is the area which is not the future, it's the present. We are seeing the development in front of us. Yes. That's the best part of it. So, and being part of the journey of the development.